Yes, sir. We can start now.
Yes, sir. Very good morning. This is Professor N.V. Suryanarayana, IKC Coordinator, NSR at Visakhapatnam. So, on behalf of the management, our Chairman, Sir, Sri N. Sachinand Raj Garu, our Secretary and Correspondent, Dr. N. Prasad Raj Garu, our Honorable Director, Dr. Raja Murugadas, Sir, and the resource persons of today's sessions, Dr. G. Vijay Kumar Garu, Professor of Mechanical Engineering, Dr. Priya Vaijayanthi Madam, Professor and Head of Computer Science Engineering, Artificial Intelligence and Machine Learning, and myself, Professor Suryanarayana. On behalf of the entire student fraternity and faculty fraternity of NSRIT, hearty welcome to all the participants. Just give me 1 or 2 minutes to explain briefly about our college. Our institute was established in the year 2008 by Sri Veera Venkatara Sachinarayan Education Society at Visakhapatnam, nearly 20 kilometers from the heart of the city complex and railway station. So it got autonomous status in the year 2020. And our institute is accredited by NAC with A grade. And our programs, computer engineering, mechanical engineering, and electronics communication engineering were accredited by MBA. And we were certified by QS IGS E-Lead certificate the year 2022 with the highest score of 146 out of 150 in the entire country. So we are providing education to the students over LMS platform through Canvas. Further, only we got the certificate. And we are very proudly say that we are implementing NEP 2020 effectively from the last 2 years in our curriculum. And we were one of the top 35 institutes in the entire country for implementing NEP 2020. So with this small introduction, I request our Honorable Director, Dr. Raja Murugadas, sir, to give his opening remarks. Sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Suryanarayana. So at the outset, let me congratulate and compliment the entire team of IQAC and other resource persons from NSRIT for organizing this one-day workshop on Comprehensive Tour National Education Policy 2020. So as you know well, after the launch, this July 28th, our country is in the completing 2 years of the implementation of National Education Policy 2020. So in that aspect, now our entire country, all higher education institutions are focusing on the implementation of National Education Policy while understanding the basic concepts and values of the National Credit Framework, multiple entry, multiple exit, and National Skill Qualification Framework. So these three are the essential things to deploy NEP 2020, in addition to few more parameters, some of the other core values of NEP 2020. So in this aspect, I'm very happy that the IQAC has taken a move of first of its kind in deploying this kind of workshop to sensitize the participants who are registered from across the country. Though the participation totally it is around 50, we are happy that at least 50 institutions are very keen about this NEP 2020 and implementation. In that aspect, I'm very sure that you are going to sensitize your own team in your institution. And as rightly pointed by Dr. Suryanarayana, we are the one among the 35 institutions in the entire country in the implementation of NEP 2020 based on the recent assessment done by the AICTE and team. So we are very fortunate enough to host this one-day workshop. With this, I wish all the participants have a pleasant learning experience through this one-day workshop from our team. In case of any further extended support, we are always there through mail transaction to support all your queries and whatever requirement is there from your side. It is not going to be a one-day dot. We can extend support even beyond this workshop through mail transaction for further upskilling anything related to NEP 2020. So wish you all the very best. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Suryanarayana. Please take a call.
Thank you. Now I request the resource person, Dr. Vijay Kumar Garu, Professor of Mechanical Engineering, to carry on with National Credit Framework. Sir.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you, Suryanarayana Garu, and thank you, Dr. Murugadas, sir, Director of NSRIT, for giving the introductory remarks. So I welcome you all to the one-day workshop on comprehensive tour of NEP 2020. So we are here in Visakhapatnam. So our college is an autonomous institution, and we have been successfully implementing this NEP, and our IQAC team has already enrolled our students and staff in ABC also. So whatever the expertise what we have, so we wanted to share with all the people across the country, all the colleges. So that is the motto behind this particular workshop. And as pointed out by our director, sir, one day is not enough to give the comprehensive tour of NEP, but still we will try whatever the best possible we can give in this one-day schedule. So I hope already the schedule is circulated to all the participants, and you know what are the modules to be covered. So we have two modules in the morning session. So first one talks basically about the National Credit Framework, so NCRF, and the second module is on the Academic Bank of Credits. In the afternoon session, we have another two modules, Module 3 and Module 4, so which talks about National Skill Qualification Framework and multiple entry, multiple exit. So this will be followed by an assessment, a small assessment test. So why I'm saying it is a assessment is also there is we actually take it very seriously. And actually we wanted this workshop to have some outcomes. So those outcomes we will measure at the end with a test. So how much the participants have been actually how much they are getting, what is the knowledge gained. So upon successful completion of this workshop, we expect the participants to have certain outcomes achieved. So we have total 5 outcomes written. Actually, there are 4 sessions, but 5 outcomes. Why so? You can see the NEP actually realizing and intending the objectives of NEP is the first outcome of the workshop. And whatever the framework that is there, the other things, that is understanding creditization of all learning through meta framework of NCRF. So that is the one major outcome. And acquiring the knowledge on digitally storing the credits and using the ABC is another outcome. And the afternoon session, we will be focusing on another 2 outcomes, that is learn how to organize qualifications according to NSQF and appreciate lifelong learning through multiple entry and multiple exit options. So these outcomes will be assessed. So we have a test at the end. So questions will be from these whatever the defined outcomes are there, and we expect everyone to participate. It's an online program, and we know generally what people do. They generally log in and they just be there for the certificate. I hope you will not do that. And that's why we have asked for no objection certificate also. If at all, if your institution is asking you to do something, we wanted to see that you are fully available to attend this particular workshop. So with this small introduction, let me start my presentation. So I myself, Dr. G. Vijay Kumar, I'm Professor of Mechanical Engineering. I'll be taking you through the module 1, that is National Credit Framework. So at the end of the session, we will be giving you this National Credit Framework document also. But to read that document, we need some abbreviations. So you need to know about some of the abbreviations. Some abbreviations like AICTE, CBSE, CBCS, we are all familiar with this. But there are certain things like CITS, CTS. So you can read on DGT. HEIs means Higher Education Institutions. So these are all some of the things which we need to know. And probably I'll be using sometimes NVCT, VEC, VET, that is National Council for Vocational Education and Training, and NIOS, that is National Institution of Open Schooling. So like that, some abbreviations will be there. So whenever you get these particular abbreviations, you should refer back to the document to see which council is actually that particular abbreviation referring to. So let us start the National Credit Framework presentation. But before that, first phase is actually to learn a little bit more about NEP 2020. So first, let me start with NEP 2020. So the National Education Policy, what its vision and what it is trying to make is make the education more holistic and effective. So generally what is felt in the Indian context is that academics means often they generally lead to a place where students don't find any employment because generally they lack skills. And on the other side, if you take the vocational education, it is considered as a poor cousin of this academics, because those who are not good at academics generally go to skilling, that is vocational training. So even in the engineering colleges, most of you from our engineering colleges, you might have observed that our students don't have the required skills when they actually enter into the job. That's why we are facing a lot of problem with the industry, that every time industry says that where there is a large gap between whatever is being taught in the academics and what is going on in the industry. So every industry, they have their own modules where actually they train students to fill that particular gap for maybe 6 months training or 1 year training and like that. So what is the main essence of this educational policy is, so they are trying to make this education as a holistic, that is, it should have all the skills embedded and it should be more effective. So that is what emphasis is laid on, and the integrating general academic education with the vocational education, and not only that, the experiential learning also. This is the main point where the NCRF takes into the action. So what is the aim of this NEP 2020 is, it also aims at improving the gross enrollment ratio. So I have taken some of these slides from the internet. You can see that MHRD has given a poster in which it says, according to the NEP 2020 policy, we have to achieve 100% gross enrollment ratio in the preschools and secondary schools by 2030. So that is a target. That is a target given by the government. And likewise, you can see in the other poster. So across the school education, the gross enrollment ratio should go up to 50% by 2035. That is another target that they have kept. Now, basically, if you look at this is the school education scenario. If you think about the higher education, then what is happening at the higher education? So that's what I wanted to show here. So higher education GER is at 27.3. So to make it more clear, I have put what is that GER also, gross enrollment ratio. So it is nothing but a measure of number of students enrolled into the higher education as a percentage of eligible population aged at 18 to 23. So these are the people intended to do the higher education. So it is right now at 27.3. And what is aimed is to increase this to 50% by 2030. So this is another challenge that is there for the Ministry of Higher Education, so that they are actually floating all these NEP 2020, NCR, and so many things, so as to actually get this 50% gross enrollment ratio. So to fulfill this vision, it is imperative that we have to establish and formalize a national credit accumulation and transfer system. And that is what we are going to discuss now in the form of NCRF. The system should integrate both general and vocational education while ensuring the mobility of the students and learners within and in between the systems. So this is the backdrop of NCRF. So now we can directly go to what are the salient features of NEP 2020, so that what are the features that are covered in the NCRF we can discuss in the next slide. First thing is, we want to give a high quality education, and which should be integrated with the skills. So as I have said, our students lack skills. So we have to make an education system which is having skilling as the aspirational component. So another important point which is mentioned in the NEP 2020 is to remove the distinction between the general and vocational education. So how do we do this? So we have to establish an academic equivalence by mobility within and in between the both the general and the vocational education. So, and another point is that we should provide a multidisciplinary and holistic education across the sciences, social sciences, arts, humanities, and sports. So why we are calling for multidisciplinary here means multidisciplinarity here means, so if you take case of a mechanical engineer, suppose he is designing a small robot. So you know that robot consists of all kind of parts, not only mechanical structure. It has the electrical motors, electronic components, sensors, and it has a vision system, it has a processing equipment, it has programming. So you can see that to just do a simple project, we need a lot of multidisciplinarity. So you to just take the case of maybe a car, you know how many sensors are built into these cars these days. So everything is now moving into a multidisciplinary scenario. So NEP actually talks about this. This is a transformative policy which actually trying to include this multidisciplinary things into education. And not only that, we have to have a holistic education. So what is meant by holistic education is we need to incorporate all the kinds of things, like if a student wants to study, science student wants to study history, or maybe a history student wants to study science, we should be able to allow him to do that. And not only that, all the other parts, that is, if they are good in art, if they are good in sports, so all these things should also be coming into the education, and they should be given priority. So that is what is meant by the third point. And anything, next point is multiple entry, multiple exit. So this is a very challenging task for Indian education system. But what here we are trying to, this policy is trying to speak is, so it has to give the pathways for general and vocational education and mobility to move the student from this one stream, general stream, to vocational scheme, and vocational scheme to general scheme. We will talk about this in the later slides. And it also talks about the flexible curricular structures. So that is what is meant by flexible, means the student should be able to choose what he wants. So that is what giving this flexibility in the curriculum structure and creating the combination of different disciplines. So this is also mentioned in the NEP 2020. And finally, to do this, what we require is comprehensive credit-based academic skill qualification framework. So we need to give the credits, assign the credits, and we need to look at the accumulation of these credits, how to store the credits, how to transfer these credits into academic bank of credits. So all these aspects are actually mentioned in the NEP 2020 document. And what about the acceleration of education? So if there are some gifted children, if they can learn at a faster rate, then what to do for them? And how to recognize the prior learning, recognition of prior learning, we call it as RPL. So this kind of things. And most important thing is internationalization. So that is, maybe our students are generally moving from our country to any other country, and what should be the equivalence?
लैपटॉप में भी जुड़ सकते हैं, लैपटॉप में ही जुड़ जाइए.
If somebody is trying
WhatsApp login कर लीजिए, वहाँ पे लिंक वहाँ पे क्लिक
Sir,
करके.
I request the participants to mute. It is creating some disturbance here. So, okay, so we are talking about internationalization. So whenever our students go to any other countries to study, or maybe some other student is coming from some country to study here, so then how to deal with that case?
मैंने पढ़ा ही नहीं.
Yeah, I request all the participants to mute, please. So digital and online learning is also mentioned in the NEP 2020 document, and multilingualism is also coming up, because most of the students right now, 90% of the students, they don't have English medium. So how to give the multilingualism bring in multilingualism into the education with the extensive use of technology. And there should be always a provision for lifelong learning. So these are the major salient features of the national education policy. And to get this particular vision, to achieve this vision, so objectives and operationalization of NEP 2020, the national credit framework has been developed. So it is developed jointly by UGC, AICTE, NCVET, NCRT, and CBSE, NIOS, along with the Department of School Education, Higher Education, Ministry of Education, Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship. So all the people came together to make this particular credit framework. So basically, it talks about creditization of all kind of learning. So when I say what all kind of learning, so it is not just a classroom learning which actually takes place. It may be online course. If you want to do a blockchain course online. Maybe you want to do a artificial intelligence course. So that also should be creditized. Or some students may be good at playing games, maybe music, dance. So all these things should be creditized. And not only that, whatever the NSS, NCC, the yoga programs that they do, and any kind of outreach programs. So all these things should be creditized. So National Credit Framework actually looks for integrating the credit from all dimensions of learning, not only academics. It talks about vocational skills, relevant experiential learning skills also. So thus making the education and skilling aspirational. So when I go back to the previous slide, you can see that the same point is mentioned in the first point. So likewise, whatever the NEP has laid down, the NCRF is trying to do that. The another important thing what the NCRF is trying to do is remove any kind of distinction between the general and vocational education. So NCRF clearly establishes the academic equivalence so that there should be a mobility which can be there between general and vocational education. So coming to the next one, the multidisciplinary and holistic education. So as already we have discussed that our students are generally technically sound. They have sound skills, but the student lacks some of the other skills like soft skills, the employability skills, the digital skills, and the entrepreneurial skills, maybe leadership skills, how to deal with the people. So all these things are missing in them. So we can actually incorporate all kind of things into NCRF, and then we can give the credits to this also. And providing the multiple entry, multiple exit pathways. So whenever you remove the barrier between the vocational training and the general education, so there is always chance that the student can move from one stream to the other stream. And there are many things which we can discuss later about this ME. There is a separate session. So we will discuss more about that in that. Basically, so NCRF, what it talks about is the assignment of credits to all whatever we are learning, and accumulation of all that, storage, and how to transfer them. And the transfer means ME. That is, if a student wants to go to some other institution, then how to transfer that and redemption of those credits. So it fully supports the comprehensive credit-based academic and skill qualification frameworks. So it works with the National Higher Education Qualification Framework, National Skill Qualification Framework, National Curriculum Framework. So everything is fully supported. So NCRF is a document which actually gives a guideline to everything so that everything can be creditized. So basically, we want to see that transform the India so that we can provide a high quality education. And continuing with what this NCRF can do, so it can establish imaginative and flexible curricular structures. So already I have spoken about this. So by giving the flexible curriculum, you can actually incorporate people from different departments into our design sections. So suppose if you take the case of a designing of a PC board, so any artist, if he is there in this team, so definitely he'll be able to do it more in a more creative way. And it enables the students' learning trajectories also. And it can actually provide for midway correction of course correction or modifications. And it can take the advanced learning, that is accelerated learning and recognition of player learning also. We will discuss about these things in the next coming slides. And one more important thing is the online education, the digital and blended mode education. So COVID has given us another new form of education through which we can actually do it. So NPTEL is already successful in running, and that's a basic model which says that online learning also can be taken care of. And you can actually have some blended learning, because all the things cannot be go hand in hand only with the online. So you can have a blended mode. Some of the parts can be online, or some of the things can be offline also. So this kind of provision can be made with the help of this particular NCRF structure. And it also promotes the multilingualism. So as I have said already, the students who are coming from rural areas, So they may not be having the English medium. So more than 90% of the students, they are not non-English medium students. So AICT has already taken initiatives to offer the programs in the Indian languages. So you people know that many things are now going, many efforts are being put into how to make the multilingualism bring into the technical education. And promoting the extensive use of technology. By using this technology, we want to help the students of some people have some disability, maybe some kind of deviant. So they can be helped with the extensive use of technology. And already, as I said, internationalization of education. So by virtue of this NBA and Washington Accord, so some of our BTech programs are already, those who are accredited, they have an equivalence. They're being recognized by the other countries. But whereas if you take the medicine, you can see that if a student studies somewhere in the abroad and comes here, he has to write an equivalence exam. Or maybe if he studies here and goes there for the PG, the same thing is there. So we have to work out. This NCRF gives the provision for promoting the international education also. So we have come to an important slide. Here we have to carefully discuss what is the National Credit Framework dimensions of learning. So as I have said in my presentation already, there are three things what NEP is looking for: the academics, the skilling, and the proficiency, that is experiential learning. So here you can see in this diagram, the x-axis is the academic axis. So here you can see the pre-primary 1 to 5th class is actually given as academic level 1. 6th to 7th, 8th, up to that, it is 2, level 2. And from 9th and 10th, if you cross, then it will be level 3. And 11th and 12th, so it is 4. So this is considered as a schooling education. And after that, you can enter into the higher education. So UG1, UG2, UG3. And UG4 is like it's overlapping with PG1. I'll tell you why this kind of model is proposed later. So PG, this will be continued until PhD. So if you clearly observe this x-axis, what you can see is academic axis, the academic credit levels. So up to 5th class, you will get academic credit level 1. And if you can complete up to 8th class, you will get academic level 2. And from here on, for every year of learning, the academic levels will increase by 0.5. So that is, if you complete 9th, you will be getting 2.5. So 10th means 3, 11th 3.5, 12th 4. So this is maximum up to the schooling. So from here on, UG first year is 4.5, UG second year is 5, UG third year is 5.5. So here actually UG 3 means after 3 years of degree also, people can exit the program and they can enter into some other course. So that's what multiple entry, multiple exit option is there. Or otherwise they can continue also. So this kind of provisions are provided here. So if you look at the other axis, y-axis, so it discusses about the skill levels. So it is also now clearly giving 8 levels of skill. And by the skilling, what we can do is, so if you have 8th pass with the 2 years of ITI and some language course, it will be equivalent to 10th. And similarly, 10th pass with the 2 years of ITI and some language course, which is provided by NIOS. So it can be considered as 12th. Like that, they have given the y-axis also. And one of the transformative initiative of this NCRF is that we have the proficiency axis also. So Z-axis. So you can see this, the experiential learning is also considered here. So you can define less than 1 year of proficiency is trained level, 1 to 4 years as a proficient, and 4 to 7 years as expert, and greater than 7 years means master in that particular. So all these 3 dimensions are clearly clubbed, and the NCRF actually provides the mobility of any kind of credit from this domain to that domain. And these are all total framework is completely done. So the same thing I have clearly given here. So up to the 5th class, it is pre and middle schools. So they will get credit 1, credit level 1, 8th class credit level 2, like that it is given. So whatever the 0.5 credit they earn after 8th class. So it is 0.5 increment after every year of learning. So here the notional learning hours are given in a year as 1200 hours. So please don't take it as a classroom learning. It includes everything. It may include the self-learning also. It may include assessment also. So like that 1200 notional hours. So that particular 1200 hours per year. So this is common, whether you are in higher education, school education, vocational education, or training or skilling. So this is common. So this means that 1200 hours of learning can be now given to 40 credits. So exactly 40 credits may not be possible. Some institute may have some 40 to 44 credits also. So these are all, they should be worked out at the institutions. So for NCRF calculations, if 40 credits are there for 1200 hours, we can say that for 30 hours each, for each 30 hours of notional learning, it can be considered as 1 credit. So you can actually earn additional programs, and you can earn credits through additional programs, additional subjects as projects that you undertake. Now, this is all possible. You can actually go beyond 40 credits also. So UGC is now allowing 2 courses to be done in parallel. So this is the NCRF, how it is providing the assignment of credits. And one more important thing, what I've said is, it removes the barriers between all the kind of learning. So you can say all the total learning hours, it can come from teaching in the classroom, lab work, class projects, assignments, tutorials. Not only that, the technical and vocational education, training skills, project work, any kind of field visit, industry attachments, online, even digital and blended mode learning. So whatever the internships, apprenticeships, and experiential learning they do, and on-the-job training. So all these things can be creditized. So even the examination race, the class tests, quiz assignments, the sports and games that they play, physical activities, performing arts, then music, yoga, handicraft. So any kind of work, bagless days, all these things can be creditized. And if you do any outreach program, social work, community work, so anything contributing to the adult education, NCC, so all these things can be creditized. And coming to the proficiency axis. So here what you can see is, if somebody has some proficiency, earlier there is no scope for actually giving a credit for that. But what we can do is, now NCRF actually gives proficiency as a 1 credit, or creditizing the proficiency also. So here what we can see is some person is there who has started a garage, and he is just repairing some two-wheelers or something. And after that, he got some proficiency, and then he has later on moved to some automobiles. And later on, his experience increased, and he can now deal with the EVs. So like that, the proficiency levels also can be varying. That is, trained is first level, and you can go up to the master level. That is, in between there are proficient and expert levels. We can decide what parameters should be there to actually given as a proficient or expert. So, but what NCRF guidelines says is, whatever you start with, the training, trained means it starts with credit 1, and master means it will be credit 2. What it says is, whatever you have started with, it can go up to maximum of doubling. So it can go to maximum of 2. It can't go beyond that. So that is a guideline, and based on that, you can work out what to give for proficient and what to give for expert. And coming to the special provision in the NCRF, creditizing non-formal and informal learning, and maybe learning through some government and NGOs. So this kind of things are also taken care in the NCRF. That is, if there is any informal learning that is taking place outside the schools, that also can be creditized. And there can be some non-formal learning also, which can be creditized. And maybe if you are working with some NGOs, so that also can be creditized. And sometimes we talk about upskilling, reskilling, and we can talk about future skills, employability skills we want to include through programs like PMKVY. So all these things can be done. Upskilling means he is actually elevated to the next level. So reskilling means the same person will be there, he will be moved to some other location and in the same company, and then whatever the skills he required to achieve. So that is known as reskilling. So all these things can be done with the national occupation standards. So we can actually design a program. We can make all the outcomes for that, and we have to actually assign credits for that. We have to assess, and we can actually give the credit. So micro credentials also possible, because sometimes there are some people like CEOs, and they cannot go to a long training programs. So there can be some 8 to 30 hours of program. So you can give the micro credentials for them also. And all the OEMs also will be recognized. And the NCRF framework actually provides the scope for national and international achievers. That is for the sports, the Indian knowledge system, music, heritage, and traditional skills. Anything can be given credit. So if you have a student who is doing good at sports, so you can think of giving some credits to him. So coming to the special provisions again, the education acceleration, that is, I'm talking about the gifted learners. So who are very fast in learning. Some people are very good at maths, and they can actually complete this whole thing very fast. So when they have that exceptional abilities, so what we can do is we can actually make that also as a part of NCRF, and we can actually give some credits for that. And competitions like hackathon, the subject Olympiads and all, whatever is going on. So they also should be counted towards credit, but they need a special assessment method. So that method should be developed by the regulators, and it will be in turn adopted by the autonomous institutions. And instead, here, what we generally do is, instead of learning hours, it is learning outcomes. So whenever you take a child who is very good, he has completed his 10th, and he's trying to accelerate his learning. So here what we will do is, will he be allowed to directly go to a UG program? The answer is no, because he has to cross the 10th, 11th and 12th band. So for them, what we can do is, we can actually make him eligible to take the assessment of the 12th. So that can be done because he is an accelerated learner, he has credits. And once he passes that assessment, he can be given the entry to the UG program. So, and this NCRF also has recognition of prior learning. So whatever the learning, what you have earlier, so that will be recognized. So there are some students from rural areas who don't have any formal education or any kind of skilling ecosystem. So for them also, this NCRF gives some kind of flexibility. So whatever the prior learning that they have, so if they can complete 5th and then some kind of language course, so they will be at level 1. And if they complete 8th, so that equivalence can be done. And they have to complete one course from the this particular NIOS, and then they can get the credit for that. So such a special assessment methods, what actually NCRF prepares for us is, it should be very strict. The assessment should be objective based, and it should always try to keep up the standards, whatever the standards that are laid by the NCRF, so that we are not ruining the credibility of the NCRF. We have to keep it intact. So all the defense personnel also, when they undergo training, so there also their experiential learning is converted into credits. So NCRF finally says that it enables creditization of all learnings. So there is no differentiation in credit assignments. That is, if it is even arts, science, curriculum, and extracurricular activities, vocational and academic streams. So all kind of learning can be actually creditized. It can be even the on-job training and all. So the learning shall be creditized and subjected to the following points. The first thing is, it has to clearly prescribe the learning outcomes. And with the predefined NCRF credit levels, it should be first defined. The next step is we have to carry out the assessment against the pre-described learning outcomes. So assessment is mandatory for earning credits. And here we should discuss about the assessment bands. So that is, if you take a student, if he's at the 10th level, to go into the 11th, 12th, he has to cross that band. And in the 12th board exams also, if he crosses that band, then only he can go to UG or PG. So whatever the credits that you accumulate also, they can be accumulated within the same band. I think now you should know what is actually, I'm talking about what is meant by band. So that's why I'm going to this slide. So here you can see that I'm talking about this class 10 here. So here you can get here by crossing this particular 8th class with 2 years of secondary education, that is 1200 hours of notional learning per year in class 9th and class 10. So if he comes here, so this is how he can enter into the class 10. Otherwise, there is a provision here in the NCRF that he can complete the 8th class with 2 years of NCT training or at the level of NSQF level of 3. So he'll be eligible to go to this, give the 10th exam. Or he can come in the other way also. He can come through CBSE schools or NIOS certifications also. So here, this basically, the 10th class is at the level 3. And whatever the credits that are earned are 40. So here you can see one more column that is there, that is the credit points. So how do you get this credit points is, you have to multiply this credit framework level multiplied by the credits earned in that particular year. So that will give 120. Similarly, in class 11, if he gets 40 credits, 3.5 into 40, that is 140. So like that, for the next year, 4 into 4, 40, 160. So like that. So this is a framework where everything is included here. So you can see that it can come in the general education way. He can either complete 8th class and then by gaining the credits, he can get a eligibility to write this 10th exam, or maybe through CBSE or NIOS also he can get. So that is why we say that everything is covered in NCRF. And when we talk about the blended learning, that is in vocational and training and skilling. So what they did is they have actually given 7 different components by which they can actually use this blended learning. So all the things cannot be learned online or offline. So some things can be done online and some things need to be done in offline. So that ratio we can define in the blended learning. So if you take the case of a welding, so how people are doing is there are welding simulators. So using welding simulator, you cannot actually do 100%, but till 90% you can use it and 10% you can do it in the offline like that. So the blended learning actually has these components, theory and practicals combined together, soft skills and showing demonstration, practical and lab works, tutorials and assignments, assessments and evaluations, and on-the-job training and apprenticeship. So these are the 7 parts of blended learning. So that's why we say it as a national credit framework is a one single meta framework. So it encompasses all the qualification frameworks. So it's a single credit framework. That's what we have been discussing. And how to give the assignment of credits, how to store them, how to transfer them, and how to redeem them. So this is basically now the task of ABC, Academic Bank of Credits. So it's an enabling framework, so which will be laying down and defining the basic principles of creditization of all kind of learning. So this is the major achievement towards the objective of NEP 2020. So it's called as a meta framework because it integrates all things like academics, vocational training, skilling, experience learning, everything. So it basically empowers and enables the institutions and it gives them the required flexibility and resilience to adapt and cater to the qualifications and curricular academic skill requirements. So all regulators and autonomous bodies like UGC, AICT, NBCT, NCRT. So all these things, they are actually trying to implement these plans, and they are trying to prepare the guidelines and framework for this. So NCRF mechanism for transfer and redemption of credits also I'll try to discuss a little bit, because later Madam will take care of this ABC. And what this particular slide says is the credit account of learners for the student will be stored in the academic bank of credits, and this shall be recognized by the education and skilling ecosystem. So the requisite number of credits at a particular NCRF level, so they can be credited in one institution and they can be transferred to the other institution. So if you, when you are trying to transfer from one institution to another institution, there are practically so many difficulties will be there. So you are eligible. Eligibility is different, and getting a seat there is different. So admission criteria will be there. So if a person wants to move from X college to Y college, then we have to fulfill the admission criteria at Y college, because admission process, availability of seats, so many things will be there. And assignment of these credits and transfer of credits. So this also requires establishing the equivalence. So whenever we want to shift anything from vocational education to general education or vice versa, establishing the equivalence is also important. So here also we have to define the entry criteria. So as such, you cannot directly move from general education to any vocational or vocational to general. So there will be an entry criteria, entry module, so which a student is supposed to complete, and then only you will be able to move between these two. So we have this multiple entry and multiple exit options also. So redemption of the credits is also possible. So you can use these credits for award of certificate, diploma, degree, micro-credentials, and even you can get admission into a program or your qualification improvement. So here I'll try to give an example of mechanism for transfer and redemption of the credits. So suppose that a student is there, he wants to move from Institute 1 to Institute 2. So there are three cases. So first case, you can see that the institute offering the same courses and same subjects as Institute 2. Institute 1 is offering the same subject. So then there will not be any problem. So all the credits can be transferred. Subject A 10 credits, subject B 10 credits, all the credits can be transferred by ABC. But in case the institute is offering some courses, but some courses are different. So then what happens is, so whatever the courses that are same, so they can be transferred. And whatever is different, that has to be done by the student. And third case is that is totally different courses. And partially overlapping courses are there. So for that, what we can do is whatever the components that are already covered at Institute 3, so they can be somehow picked up, and they are all the transfer of credits can be done, and whatever is remaining, so that can be done by the student. So these are all the models. These are all the proposed models that NCRF is trying to talk about. So academic equivalence is also very important. Here I have some examples where a first year UG student is trying to actually quit the program. He is seeking admission into the second year of any other UG program. So how this can be done? So here they comes with or without any bridge courses. So he has to complete this eligibility criteria, and then only he can actually take the bridge course, and then he can enter into it. And an ITI pass out is there after 2 years of 10th. So they have the ITI pass out. So if they want, if they can complete one additional language course from NIOS, so it is equivalent to now 12th certificate. So this is already happening, and this kind of things are going on. And a learner who is accumulating 200 credit points through NSQF at level 2, level 2 of qualification. So if along with the numeracy, if he has 240 hours of language course, so he'll be given equivalence of 8th certificate. So like this, the equivalency is also considered, but equivalency is possible only within the same bands. So that we need to keep in mind. So equivalency sets the base for establishing the eligibility. So we take one more case where the student is joining the 12th school education, 12th or equivalent. So one way is directly 12th pass and he has some courses with NIOS, he can come here. Or he has 10th class with 2 years of ITI diploma after 10th and one language course specified by NIOS. So that also is equivalent to 12th. Or a 10th class grade student completed 2 years of three-year degree diploma. So he also can take this 12th equivalent. Or a 10th class pass is there. He doesn't have any diplomas, but he has a skill qualification at 3.5 level, NCRF level 3.5. And he has some 40 credits with accumulated with language and language courses. So this also can be treated as equivalent to 12th. And coming to the higher education, so here you can see if somebody wants to seek the admission into second year UG. So one way is actually you can complete your first year UG and directly enter into the second year. But the other way, how we can actually do this is a 10th class pass with completed 3 years of diploma after 10th with the entry module can enter into the second year of UG. So likewise, we can consider 12th class pass with 20 credits of UGC or AICTE approved program at level 4.5. UG second year. Or the other option is 12th class pass plus 40 credits from the UGC or AICTE approved by this NHEQF. So at 4.5, this also can be considered as eligibility for second year. So like this, we can establish entry criteria for programs under National Credit Framework. So National Credit Framework provides the multiple entry, multiple exit. So this we will learn more about this actually in the afternoon session. But what the point I would like to mention here is when somebody is entering the academic education to vocational education, so or vice versa, what we have to see is whether he is doing any course which is useful for them for the job market. Because when somebody quits the course, what we should make sure is, so he has some, at least some qualification or some skills through which he can survive. So for that, I'll give you one example here. So in case of an undergraduate degree of either 3 or 4 year duration, so a certificate after completion of 1 year. So 1 year, if you want to leave, then there will be provision. A diploma after 2 years of study is also possible. A bachelor's degree after 3 years of program, and a bachelor's degree with research. So these are all different cases. So similarly for the master program also, we can actually do a 2-year program. And here, if he completes and at the end of first year, if you want to leave, so he also can be given a 4-year bachelor degree program with honors or research. An integrated 5-year bachelor course also program is there. So here he has an option to exit in the 3rd year with a bachelor degree. So this is why the credit levels are overlapping. So with an entry to a 2-year master program is also possible. So like that, there are multiple entry, multiple exit options, which we will explore later on in the day. So to summarize this whole thing, what I would like to say is National Credit Framework is a total framework, comprehensive framework, which integrates the academics, vocational skills, and essential learning skills, whatever are there, and higher education, school education, everything, vocational education, it encompasses everything. And NCRF has the provisions. In short, we can say that it enables the assignment of credit, accumulation, storage, transfer, and redemption of the credits, allow the multidisciplinary and holistic education through outcome-based approach. It enables the multiple entry, multiple exit options, and removes any distinction that is there between the general vocational education, and establishes the equivalence and allows the mobility, and supports the existing national qualification frameworks. And it actually works in tandem with that. So coming to the benefits of the stakeholders. So first thing is the gross enrollment ratio. So if you start from this side for the government, and for the industry, the short-term future skills. So if you really have, the student has already some of the skills, so he can actually be used for upskilling, and then in the short term itself, he can get all the skills that is required. And for the institutions, they promote unification of the multidisciplinary education. And for the student, accreditation of all kind of learning hours is a major benefit. So like this, you can read on. We will pass on this information to you. And I need not read everything, but these are all the benefits that you get from the stakeholders. So with that, I stop my presentation. And if there are any questions, I'm ready to take.
Very good morning, sir.
Yeah, good morning, sir.
Sir, very nice talk.
Thank you, sir.
I come to learn so many things.
Thank you, sir.
Few
Sir,
questions are, sir,
which
few
college,
questions.
sir?
Yeah.
You are from which college, sir?
I'm from JP University, Solan.
Sir, please, sir.
Sir, there is one question regarding 30 hours per credit.
Yes, sir.
Suppose a student is registered in BTech first semester.
Okay.
With 20 credits.
Okay.
So it means he has to complete 600 hours.
Yes, sir. 600 hours in a semester.
Okay. But for a course of 3 credits,
yeah,
there are 42 lectures only.
Yes, sir.
So how come these 42 lectures for 3 credits will not give?
Sir, whatever you are talking is different from whatever I have mentioned. This is a notional hours. So directly you cannot say whatever the classroom learning that is going on. So it is equivalent to these hours. Okay. So it includes self-learning, self-assessment. So many things are there. Okay. So don't please confuse with this and that.
Okay.
So finally, what the great framework, what it says is, so for every 30 hours of learning, there should be 1 credit. So it is up to you to decide how to give the credits and all. So you need not worry about these things, sir.
Yeah. Got it, sir.
Got it, sir. Thank you.
Next question is, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
If all types of learning should be creditized,
yeah,
then how come the defined curriculum for a program,
yes, sir,
will get saturated?
For this national curriculum framework is coming up, sir. We have to wait for some more time. We will be doing that also maybe in future, because when you are asking this kind of question, the same question will be there for all kind of education systems also.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a framework. Basically, it's a framework. It's a broad guideline, and we need to work out. The regulators in the autonomous institutions, they need to work out what will be the best way to do it. Okay. So at this moment, I think we cannot answer this, but we have to find answer for this.
Yes, sir. Yes. Okay.
Yes.
Sir, one more thing. Assessment band, I could not understand.
Yeah. I'll go back and I'll tell you that. Sir, this is the assessment bands. So wherever the red lines are there, no thick lines. So if you want to cross from 8th to 9th, definitely this red line says that you have to take an assessment and then only you can go to class 9. If you want to pass class 8th. So assessment is mandatory there, sir. Just not accumulation of credits. It will not take you to the next level. So similarly, after 10th also, you can see that there is a red line, which says that from 10th to 11th, if you want to pass on, you have to take assessment, a formal assessment, and then only you can go into that. Okay, sir?
Okay.
Right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much, sir. Very nice, informative, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Sir, could you please, just a second, could you please elaborate this part of formative assessment? That means from 11 to 12, where is the dotted line is there?
Yes, madam.
Their formative assessment is not integral part?
It is there, madam, but it actually talks about so many ways in which you can enter and exit. Actually, some people may exit here. You can see if a graduate goes out at an undergraduate course of first year UG program, madam, he does not want to continue. Maybe he's not interested to do that. Earlier, there is no provision. If somebody quits at first year, then no certificate will be given. But here we have a provision that there's some equivalent certificate will be given even after he quits the first year, because maybe there is some financial problem, or maybe he doesn't like that course. He wants to move to some other college. So earlier, there is no provision for that kind of thing. But what I'm trying to say here is at least you get a UG course. And similarly, you can see UG second year, if he quits, he gets a UG diploma. So entry, exit, when they are trying to exit, it's not a simple exit actually, but they will be assessed again. They'll be required to take the another 2 more certification courses, which are useful for the job market. Otherwise, just simply quit means they'll not be useful for anything. So we have to make our curriculum in such a way that they take those 2 certification courses, and with this particular UG certificate, they may be entering into the job market. So that is the basic analogy of all this.
And for this UG certificate, for example, after first year, a child quits.
Yes.
And let's say after 2 years,
yes,
the child wants to continue again, maybe from the same university or another university.
Yes.
Would this certificate carry a value and the student enters into second year directly?
Yeah, he can enter. That is multiple entry, multiple exit. He can enter. That is why all the credits will be stored in the academic bank of credits, madam. So they can be even moved to another institution also. That is what we are talking about. There can be many difficulties when it comes to the implementation, but this is a framework which talks about the possibility, first of all.
I have one more question regarding this honors degree and the minor degree.
Yeah, madam.
What has come up is that there are the same number of credits for the honors as well as for the minor as of now. 20 credits, for example, you are to take for honors and 20 credits for the minor.
Yes, madam.
How? Because honors itself carries a higher value than minor.
Yeah.
Are we
so here you can see that in the UG, 4th year UG honors, so it is 240 credits actually. What the credit points I'm talking about. So this is a new framework where if it continues after 3rd year also, so what he'll get is he'll get into the National Credit Framework level 6, and he'll be earning another 40 credits there. So it is equivalent to 240 credit points earned. That will lead to UG degree honors. So that is what is proposed in the new framework.
So if a child doesn't register for the honors degree in first year, at the final year, by earning the credits, they can go for the honors degree.
Yes, madam.
Does that mean?
No, because entry exit is there, so we cannot make it mandatory at the first year, I think.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, madam.
Sir, one more thing. Myself, Rakesh Bajaj from JP University.
Go ahead, sir.
Sir, BTech in case of engineering program,
sir,
will it be possible to give exit after 3 years?
Yeah, it is there, sir. UG 3rd year you can exit.
So what will be the degree given to them?
UG degree.
No, BTech degree after 3 years.
Yeah, it's a BTech degree only, 3 years.
Okay, BTech degree will be given 3 years.
Sir, if somebody goes at the 3rd year and if somebody is continuing to the 4th year, so you can actually treat it as the first year of PG also. That provision is also there. So he can complete 1 more year and then get the PG degree. That is also the MTech 2nd year. You can get the engineering PG degree also.
I'm sorry for interrupting in between. Excuse me, sir. Just continuation of your question only.
Yes, ma'am.
You are saying that at 3rd year we'll get the UG degree, sir.
Yes, madam.
And that means minimum credit requires for the degree is 220.
Yes.
Now, if the child continues and for the 4th year as well and stays on the credit of 220 degree, at the exit of 4th year also, that child will get the UG degree.
UG degree with honors, man. UG degree with honors. There is a difference between this and that. 240 credits accumulated in that particular band.
I'm saying that final year child is not availing any credit, continuing with the education.
No. He will be having his credit. You can see here the credit framework level is 6, and he'll be having 40 credits. And what you see on this side is the credit points earned in that particular band. That is 240.
Sir, hello.
Yeah, sir.
So one question, like in AICTE curriculum, they are saying that engineering degree, BTech degree, 4-year BTech degree is 160 credits.
Okay, sir.
So you are saying that we have to have a 240.
Sir, these are all credit points. Please ensure that these are credit points which will be obtained after you multiply the credits with the credit framework levels.
Okay.
This is not direct credit, sir. 240 is not credits. It's all credit points earned.
Got it,
Okay,
got
so-
it. Now it is making a sense with the credit points. Yeah, now
Yes,
it's
madam. Yes,
clear.
madam.
But still, BTech degree cannot be given after 3 years.
It has to sync, sir. There is no other way, because if somebody is doing any BSc degree, be vocational, so if they are trying to quit that at a third year, maybe a student who wants to go from this to some other vocational course or BSc engineering, MSc, MVoc. So like that, if they want to move, so there should be a provision. So that's why in the third year they have kept like this.
But can an institution stop any exit after 3 years?
We cannot stop, sir. Actually, the framework says that if there is a possibility, allow the student to go to the other institution. It is not simply like moving from one to other. There will be a lot of hurdles, ethics, because whatever the equivalence that is their credits. So
Actually, in case of general bachelor's programs,
Sir.
like BSc or BA,
Vocational, yeah.
3 years program is okay.
Yes, sir.
And then we give the degree of BSc. But if he completes 4 years, we will say that BSc honors.
Sir, somewhere I have written that in M vocational also can be given. Somewhere I have written. So you can go through the draft copy, sir. We can elaborately discuss, because I'm getting late. Madam is waiting for the next presentation. We can have these discussions, sir. You can mail it to IQAC. We can have further discussion later. Right. Thank you. Sir, one more question only I'll take, because we are delayed with the...
Sir, in short, Dr. Nanda has posed one question, sir.
Sir.
Can the college has the option of imparting pottery and carpenter skills as one credit? And is there any institution offering these courses?
Yeah, I have already put that NIOS levels are there. We have to design that certificate in course. We have to get the all the whatever the outcomes that are required, and you need to specify the what is the assessment that you are doing. So that should be ratified by the regulator. So if that is done, then you can incorporate any course, sir. That's not an issue.
Thank you, sir. Hello, I'm Dr. Nanda here. I'm the person asked the same question.
Madam.
Is that possible only for engineering, or someone from graduate other institution they wanted to
this is a framework.
Enter and do the...
That's what this is a framework. It is still premature idea, so we need to discuss a lot how this can be done. If a person comes from sciences to social, then how it should be treated. If somebody is trying to push from social sciences to science or engineering, so these are all we have to work out, madam. This is a broad guideline only, says that we have to give the student the advantage of moving from one to other. But so how to work it out, we have to...
Then is it means that no college is yet implemented?
I think IITs they are doing, madam, as per my knowledge, but most of the colleges, they are still they are trying to understand this framework, because it is a new in public domain. So we are also trying to understand. This is a framework only. Whatever I have presented, it's a framework only. It's not a broad guide. It's a broad guideline. It's not a guideline saying that
it's
definitely
not
it has to happen. Implementation, there will be definitely some problems. And definitely we have to look out what are the things which are stopping, and what is the solution. You have to find it out.
No, at least, sir, any insight that any college in near future is undergoing to take these kind of options immediately
actually,
to implement?
We need to take permission from the university also, madam. It is not like that as a college you want to implement everything, because the regulator is there, university is there. So many people are involved, and your own institution, though you are autonomous, you have these academic councils, BOS. So all these things process should be taken care of. As such, we cannot just implement anything. I hope you know the hierarchy.
Yes.
So we have to do it that way only, madam.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Sir, thank you, Vijay Kumar, sir, for your detailed and elaborate talk on National Grid Framework.
Yeah.
Now,
thank you, sir.
Now, will you share the feedback link, sir?
I'll share the feedback link. Dear participants, I'll share one link in the chat box, as well as please give the feedback, and after the feedback, the next session will be continued.
Sir, would you be able to share this presentation?
Yeah, madam, we will be doing it at the end. We will give you the total framework copy also. Okay.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, madam.
So the link will be shared. Participants are requested to give your valuable feedback. After that, Dr. Priya Vaijantha madam will start the second session on academic bank of grades.
So dear participants, I have shared the link here in the Zoom meeting itself. You can click on this one and give the feedback for the first session. And meanwhile, madam will be getting ready and she'll take the second session. Thank you.
Sir, in the chat, I haven't received any link. It's not visible, sir.
Okay, no problem, madam. I'll post it in the WhatsApp group also.
I'm not a part of the group, sir. If you can add me as well. I have just WhatsApp you the details of mine. I'm Sugandha Singh from CBIT Hyderabad.
Okay, madam. Okay. I'll do that. Huh? Thank you.
So dear participants, the feedback link for the first session is already posted in the WhatsApp group. Please respond to it.
Sir, request you to kindly add me into the WhatsApp group. I have again sent a request to Vijay, sir.
We'll admit, just wait for 2 minutes. But please check where you are added. And the link is posted in chat box also. You can respond to chat box also.
Yes, sir. Added. Thank you, sir.
Okay. So, shall we move to the next session?
Yes, sir.
Now, I request Dr. Priya Vaijantha madam, Professor and Head, Department of Computer Engineering with specialization in Artificial Intelligence Machine Learning, to start her presentation on academic bankruptcy. Please, madam.
A very good morning to everybody. First of all, let me confirm, am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, but you're audible.
Thank you, sir. On behalf of NSRIT, I welcome you all for this one-day workshop on comprehensive tour of National Educational Policy 2020. And you all are aware that NEP, which was launched in 2020 July, and central government has taken several initiatives for the implementation of it. And institutions, slowly they are getting into the implementation part. All the state universities and our affiliated universities also taking initiatives for the implementation of national educational policy. And in order to understand the implementation of NEP 2020, all these must, as an academician, we should have awareness of all these things. That's why we have come up with this workshop to cover all the components whose understanding is required for the implementation of NEP 2020. So as part of it, the first session, National Credit Framework, which was covered. In continuation to that, the second is about the Academic Bank of Credits. So my session will be on the Academic Bank of Credits. As Sir introduced, myself, Dr. Priya Vaijayanti, Professor of Computer Science, and I'm heading the Department of CSE, Artificial Intelligence and Machine Learning at NSRIT. And we at NSRIT have started to implement NEP 2020 in with a few aspects. And on these aspects, we are selected as one among the 35 institutions who have made attempts to initiate, implement NEP 2020 as part of the 3rd anniversary celebration of NEP 2020, which is scheduled in July 28th, this month end. So we thought whatever we have done, we want to share with our fellow academicians, and that's why this workshop is organized. So let us to start with, to understand Academic Bank of Credits, we should have some idea about the National Educational Policy 2020. So I have given a brief, the highlighting features of NEP 2020. So the first important feature what NEP 2020 which is projecting is the higher educational institutions, whatever we have in our country, will be slowly transformed into multidisciplinary universities and colleges. So the main focus what NEP 2020 is giving is first into phasing out a single-streamed education. That is in an engineering institution, should not be a single engineering stream alone. You should have the provision for a student to have a development in the multidisciplinary setting and also in transdisciplinary setting. So that is one of the prime features of NEP 2020. And of course, if you want to implement, if you want to have such academic system where we have multidisciplinary and transdisciplinary curriculum and education, right? We should have a centralized system where the students can learn different things in different places and they can earn the credits. And for that, this Academic Bank of Credit comes into picture. And the second feature of NEP 2020 is that the 4 years of engineering education, now that it is divided into different things, like as we were discussing in the earlier session, the students have the options to leave their education in the middle and they can go for some practice or some other, and later they can join. So likewise, as we are giving more flexibility to the students for their academics, right? We have this 4 years of engineering education. Now that it has become 1 year, second year, third year. So likewise, it is getting divided. And as part of this, the second important feature of NEP 2020 is having multiple entry and multiple exit, which is not available in the present academic system. So in order to facilitate all these things, that is to have a complete student-centric or the learner-centric environment, and to have multiple entry and exit, to have multidisciplinary and transdisciplinary curriculum, we must have a centralized system where all the learnings by a student in different courses and different institutions can be accumulated and can be used. And that part is academic bank of credits. So I have organized my presentation in this way. And this presentation is completely based on the Gazette document published by UGC on July 28th, 2021. That is after the announcement of NEP 2020. So what is academic bank of credit? What are its objectives? How it is structured? And what are its functionalities? And if you want to register your institution into ABC, what is your eligibility to participate in that, and how it is getting implemented, and who has to monitor this? So all these are announced in that document, and I have made my presentation in line with that Gazette document. So first, the academic bank of credits. What we get out of academic bank of credits is student mobility, academic flexibility, and recognized learning achievements. So let us look into that. So academic bank of credits is academic bank account, which is a national level facility, right? With which what you can facilitate is no need to have a rigid curriculum, no need to have a single-phased curriculum. You can have a multidisciplinary curriculum and transdisciplinary curriculum. A student can switch from one discipline of study to the other. So whatever courses he wants to learn, right, that he can decide on his ability, and accordingly he can choose the courses and he can earn the credits through that courses, and whatever credits he is earning will be deposited into his academic bank account, which is called as academic bank of credits. So it's a centralized digital environment where every learner can have an account. And as it is facilitating academic flexibility, I can design the list of courses, what I want to study as part of my education, and accordingly I can learn the courses in different places, and wherever I complete the course, whenever I'm earning a credit, it will be deposited into my digital account, into my ABC account, and that credit I can use wherever I continue my education. So this is an academic bank account where I will be depositing my credits. And because of this, I'm giving a provision. This NEP 2020 facilitates the student mobility. So it is not necessary that the student has to have a complete education in a single organization. Whatever credits he has scored from one organization will be available in his ABC account, and those credits can be transferred and it can be redeemed when he continues his education in the another institution. So the mobility of students is very much happening, we can see, if we implement ABC. So by this, right, if the student is given the flexibility to learn from different organizations, if the student is given academic flexibility to learn the courses of his choice, right, then obviously we are having an environment, an enabling environment to have a multidisciplinary educational system and transdisciplinary educational system. Multidisciplinary, a student registered under civil engineering can study the courses of his choice from computer science. And transdisciplinary means completely a different. A student of, say, computer science engineering, I can study my interested course in music, dance, and the credits what I earn through them can be accounted in my ABC, and that I can use. So the prime focus of NEP 2020 to have a multidisciplinary university and institutions, a transdisciplinary university and institution can be achieved only if we have academic bank of credits. And this is the screenshot what I have taken from the government website abc.gov.in, and this is the statistics given by the government, and you can see the different states in different shadings. The lighter the shade, the number of it actually stands for the number of institutions who have account in ABC, and government is insisting, the state governments and the central government, they are insisting all the institutions, whether they are a degree offering institution or into the engineering institutions, they are insisting the institutions to register into ABC. So the institute must register itself into ABC. And of course, we have some eligibility for that. And once the institution has registered, you have to create ABC account for all your students and for teachers also. Because whenever a teacher is upskilling, right, we are like by doing the course in NPTEL platforms and all nowadays. So the credits what you are earning, that also can be accumulated. So this is the current statistics, and Maharashtra seems to have more number of institutions registered under ABC, and it is also showing, though the institutions are registered, how many are very active in using it. That is also, that statistics also given. I suggest you to go through this website abc.gov.in, which gives a complete outline of how all the processes. Even you can find a video link describing how it is happening. So the objective of academic bank of credits, what we have highlighted as the benefits, right, are projected here. So to promote the student-centric environment with a learner-friendly approach in higher education, right? So as to have a multidisciplinary approach in higher education is the ultimate objective of academic bank of credits. So the students can tailor their own program, right, according to their interest. They can select the courses, and we don't have a rigid framework within which, rigid curriculum within which the student has to follow. Instead, he is having the flexibility of framing his own curriculum according to the courses of his choice. He can frame. So by having this option, right, according to NEP 2020, right, we are going to give a multiple entry, multiple exit provision for the students. That is, if I register for a program, say in the first year, I'm getting an opportunity of leaving that maybe after 1 year of study. I can go for some job trainings, or I can go for skilling. And later, if I want to continue my education, I can come back and I can continue with my education. So this 4 years, right, it is now that it is made in a different way, so that you can have entries at multiple levels and exit in multiple level also. And according to the exit that you are doing, you will be given with the appropriate certification. So that is the prime motto of NEP 2020. So by this, right, we are the objective is to promote teaching learning in a distributed and also what is called as a blended learning, right? As far as the higher educational institutions are concerned, the teaching pedagogy is what we follow. It is not varying majorly in majority of the institutions. Depending on the initiatives taken by institutions, maybe we will be adapting one or more new teaching pedagogy. Now, the prime motto of again the feature projected in NEP 2020 is to have a blended learning, because always we cannot expect a teacher to be with us to learn everything, right? So we must also promote lifelong learning, a self-directed learning. So these things can be achieved through if you have a blended learning environment. So the learner-centric environment should be blended so that we always facilitate lifelong learning for our students. And to satisfy the students' interest for knowledge, right? We are giving them the freedom to choose and change their academic directions, connecting different domains of engineering. As I said, like nowadays, a civil engineer cannot have all 4 years of study. No need to have in civil engineering alone. According to the market trends, according to the demanding technologies in your own domain, if you want to learn the courses from the other disciplines, you have the flexibility, you have the freedom. You means the students are given with the freedom to choose the courses from the other disciplines, and you can complete your degree also. So this rigid curriculum framework and a single-phased education, slowly we will be phasing out if we start to implement NEP 2020. So this is the organizational structure of Academic Bank of Credits. So ABC is a digital account, right? Where it's a depository of credits for of all my students. So if an institution A, right? If I have registered into ABC, if this graduates or if the students of my institution have their ABC account, right? I myself as a student who is studying in institution A, say I'm doing 1 year of one year of study in institution A, and I'm earning some credits, and my credits will be deposited into my ABC account. And later, if I want to change my institution further, if I want to do some other course from another institution, say institution B, the credits what I earned through my studies in institution A, now it is available in my academic bank account. And those credits I can use them, I can redeem them, I can transfer them if I continue my study in institution B. So this is possible only if institution A and institution B, both of them, they must have registered under ABC. Then only the credit transfers and redemption of credit, all these things are possible. So if you want to implement NEP 2020, right, then the first step towards that is registering your institution under ABC. So once you register your institution under that, you will be given with the technical support and the procedure to be followed to create ABC account for all your students. So that if you do, then the students or the batch of students for which you have the ABC ID, they have the complement, they get the complete academic flexibility and freedom for their credit transfer. This is how ABC works. Now, let us talk about the functions of Academic Bank of Credits. So, this is just like our bank account, which we operate in from different places.
You're going to complete both now?
If time
Otherwise,
permits.
I ask him to do post lunch for that only. Otherwise, workshop will go over by now.
Now both.
After that, if you மத்தியானம் எடுக்கலன்னா இப்ப அவர் மத்தியானம் எடுக்கணும்
Just a minute. Okay, let me continue. The functions of ABC, it is just like our bank account where we are depositing our money, and you are free to use your account from different places. Same as the academic bank. So the credits what a student is earning will be deposited into that account, whether he is earning the credit through a theory course or a practical course. And though these two are mentioned, it can be through the internship, it can be through some skilling program, it can be through the online certification, provided the online certification framework should give you some equivalent credits according to the credit framework, national credit framework. So from different places, you can earn the credits, and all the credits what you are earning will be deposited into your ABC account. And if your organization has registered registered into ABC, then the credits what you have earned will be verified, and the credits can be accumulated, and the credits can be transferred if you are continuing your education in later part after a break, or if you are continuing your education in some other place with some other organization, that is possible, right? So the credits what I earn through by spending time in my education will be utilized somewhere, and we don't have a rigidity for that. And according to the gazetted document, the validity of the accumulated credits, it is up to 7 years. However, according to the statutory norms of your organization, it may vary. However, whatever credits it's available in your account, it is valid for 7 years. And how your credit is getting distributed, and the curriculum, whatever has to be framed, right? That is up to the institution which is implementing this. And when I say it is up to the institutions, we have regulatory bodies like we have academic councils, we have board of studies, we have governing body. So we should get a formal approval through all the apex bodies what we have in our institution. And if we are affiliated to a state university, so we should get appropriate permission from the affiliated university also. So having satisfied all the statutory norms, if you have if your institution is registering into ABC, and if your students are having ABC account, then the credits, whatever is getting accumulated in their account, is valid for 7 years of validity. And as I mentioned, the credits earned not only through the theory and practical courses what you have as part of your curriculum, it can be from the national schemes on the online mode, like Swayam, NPTEL, and virtual lab from likewise, that also can be part. Now coming to the eligibility, the institute's eligibility to register into ABC. And as far as okay. Anyway, I just want to mention a change in the first point. Okay, this is the initial version, what was listed. Now the situation is like this. The institutions must have NAC accreditation with A grade, right? Or this is the first eligibility, or at least 3 programs of your institution must be NBA accredited with a score of 675, or you should be listed in, your institution must be listed in the top 100 institutes of NIRF, or it should be in 1 in 1,000 listing of either QS or the Times Higher Education ranking. So these are the eligibility criteria for an institute to get into ABC. And if you have any one of this, then your institution is eligible to register yourself into ABC. And suppose if the institution fails to maintain the eligibility, then the batch of students for which you have created ABC account during your eligibility, it is in hope. That can be continued. However, it is not applicable to the students who are joining with you after your validity period. So this is how it goes. And you should get the recommendation, right? Letter of recommendation from your governing body, which means the apex body of your organization, generally the governing council, they must give approval, right, to have this, so that this recommendation you have to project to the ABC, and you can register your institution under ABC. And the institution can enroll a maximum of 20% of the sanctioned intake of the program for the students who are registering under ABC scheme to avoid overcrowding. So if you are registering in a year, maybe for
Voice is breaking to my understanding.
now, is it audible?
Yes.
Okay. So we have a upper limit on the students for whom you can create ABC ID. And a higher education institution, if you want to get into ABC, you should have a good infrastructure. We have some facilities listed out in the document. You can go through that. And all those are related to the usage of good ICT tools. You should have a recording room, a digital library facility, because we are much focusing on blended learning. So the institutions who wants to get into ABC are expected to have a digital learning platforms, more of its use into your institution, if you want to, as one more infrastructural requirement. And the institutes who are registering under ABC, they should maintain an exclusive website in your institution website, indicating what are all the courses you are offering under ABC, and what about the enrollment rules for that, and how many credits allotted for that, so that the students of other institutions, if they want to register for these courses, it must be made available through your institution website to have much transparency for these credit transfers.
Priya,
Sir.
I think your voice is clear for me. You please check with the participants whether the voice is clear. Please kindly ensure. Somebody has posted that voice is not clear.
Sir, it's breaking in between. Right?
Yeah.
Now is it audible?
Ma'am,
Yes.
when it's audible, it's okay, but sometimes it breaks in between.
Okay.
I think I request the participants, if there is any break in voice, you please kindly intervene and update so that the session will not be wasted. Please go ahead, Priya.
Yes, just you ping in the chat if you have any disturbance in the voice, so that I can check from my side.
No, actually, something is there. It goes on in continuation, but sometimes there is a pause and silence.
Okay, Priya, you please take
now,
off.
Okay, I'm continuing from here. If at all any disturbance, then you please put it in chat, sir, so that we can check. Now coming to the implementation methodology of ABC. So if you have, if you are an autonomous institution or your institution, if you are affiliated to a university and if you are following the curriculum and regulation given by the university, then your institution having registered into ABC, you should provide appropriate amendments in your regulations stating about the credit transfers and the different courses what you are offering under ABC by getting proper appropriate approval from your apex body like governing council or academic council, whichever is applicable. You should get proper approval from them and you should make amendments in your academic regulations. So as an autonomous institution, while framing, if you have a regulation in place and if you want to implement NEP 2020 by registering yourself into ABC, then you should make some amendments according by getting appropriate approval from your academic council and the governing council. And the students can choose the courses from any registered higher educational institutions under the scheme across the country. So we say, this is the prime motto we have been discussing, right? So the students are given the flexibility to choose the courses from other institutions. They can, whatever we said, that if it is made available through the institutional website, the student can understand what are the courses which are offered by those institutions. If at all it is for my interest, I can register to that course in that institution. I can study and I can earn my credit, and that credit I can use in my academic system. So that flexibility, if you implement ABC, you will be getting. And the student can opt courses up to 50% of the total credits and the rest of the credits from the institution where he has registered. So it doesn't mean that the complete the credit requirement to get a degree can be earned completely outside, right? So 50% of the total credits can be earned from the others, and 50% he has to earn. Some minimum credit requirement is there which he or she has to earn from the institution he has registered. So that that also we have in the implementation part. And because of the multiple entry and multiple exit, the students can earn either a diploma, a degree, or a PG diploma certificate at the end of third year, or completely a BTech honors degree if he is completing the 4 years of study. According to the place or the year he is exiting, right, he can earn. The students who have registered under the scheme of ABC and seeking degree under the scheme can have a relaxation of one semester at the maximum, right? If at all they want to have a break. So if I'm registering for BTech program, say in the year 2022, and after first year of my study, I want to have an exit. And I have earned say 40 credits as part of my first year of study. That will be there in my ABC. I will have an exit, and later if I want to continue, right, maybe 1 or 2 semesters break I can have, and later I can join maybe in the next academic year, leaving a 1 year break, and I can join. And I can use the credits, whatever I have earned, I can continue with that. So that relaxation, it is not for longer time, to a maximum of 1 or 2 semesters only. So that if I am joining at 2022, if I am taking a break at 2023, later I can continue my education at 2024. One or 2 semesters of break you can have, and that with that you can continue. And the other point is this entry again into your academics, right, need not be in the same organization. It can be in the other organization also. And the break 1 year right? What you have taken. In that time, you might have done some online certifications, you might have done some internships, right? So whatever fits into the skill framework, right? And if it is a credited program, and if it fits into the national credit framework, and if you are earning credits, those in that 1 year of break, those also will be deposited into your ABC. And later, if you are continuing your education, that you can use as part of your degree program. So these flexibilities we have if we study under ABC scheme. Now coming to the monitoring part, right? The responsibility is given to the organization, right? And if our regulation is under the affiliated university, then the responsibility is to the affiliated universities. So they are responsible for monitoring the implementation of ABC into an organization. The universities and colleges should ensure that the quality of the courses being offered under ABC through the training programs, right? It can be in the form of FDPs, as we know in NPTEL, we have some courses which are equivalent to 5 days FDP, 7 days FDP. Likewise, now that autonomous institutions, if you have registered under ABC, you can also offer those types of courses, and it can be in the form of QIPs, and it can be a personality development program. Likewise, you can offer different courses if you are registering into ABC. And of course, we should get necessary approval from the apex body and also from our affiliating university. So whatever we say, right, it should get the necessary approval from our governing statutory bodies also. And the quality assurance cell, that is IQAC, right, of higher educational institution, they should have a structured mechanism, right, so to monitor the entire process. Of course, the main functionality of IQAC is to ensure the quality. So whatever we offer through ABC, it must be monitored. It must be ensured for its quality through IQAC. The university and colleges must upload an annual report capturing all the details of the respective details in their respective website. Say if you have started to implement ABC, right, you are expected to upload an annual report of how it went, and it must be made available in your institute website. And also there should be a grievance redressal cell, right, in order to address any issues related to this scheme. So these are all the monitoring mechanisms you should have in your institution. So if you are to implement ABC into the system. So as a whole, the key aspect or the key features of NEP 2020 can be implemented only if we start registering ourselves under ABC. And for that, you should understand the several, though NEP highlights several features, you should understand what are all the things that can be done within our academic system, satisfying the regulations of our affiliating university. So wherever possible, we can bring in the changes so that every institution can be a part in implementing National Educational Policy 2020. So by this, our Indian universities also will be a change maker like the Western universities, to have multidisciplinary settings and also transdisciplinary curriculum, which are very new of its kind in the Indian educational system. And little on the multiple entry and multiple exit, I think we can have a session in the, I will cover in the afternoon session. Thank you.
Now, participants can interact with the resource person if you have any queries.
Good afternoon, madam. This
Good
is
afternoon,
Shyam.
sir.
This is Shyam from Chennai. What is the difference between a credit transfer and redemption, madam?
Just a minute, sir.
Priya, shall I pitch in?
Sir?
Priya, shall I pitch in?
Yes, yes.
Yes, sir. Thanks for your query. Actually, in fact, the credits that are being accumulated in the academic bank of credits is transferable. Transferable in the sense, say, for example, a student has registered in pursuing some kind of a program or in terms of some courses in other institutions where they are registered under academic bank of credits. In such cases, the credits earned through the other institutions can be deposited in academic bank of credits and it may be transferred to the affiliated institutions for redemption.
Okay.
Are you convinced?
Yes, sir. So the redemption happens once they are getting their degree course, if my understanding is correct.
Yes, this credit is valid for 7 years.
Okay.
And one more point, there are some terminology, I think Dr. Priya has updated you. Credit assignment, credit accumulation, credit transfer, credit redemption.
Okay.
After this workshop, we will share you the document where you can find good explanation in that document.
Okay.
Done.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
As I told, maybe in the WhatsApp group, I'll share the Gazette document issued by UGC, where you can find the complete explanation for ABC. You can understand it better. And also, I suggest you to go through that abc.gov.in, where you can find a video material explaining the entire process of ABC.
Thank you, madam.
Hello, ma'am.
Sir.
I have a small question. Actually, in one slide, I have seen that institution can enroll a maximum of 20% of the sanctioned intake of the program.
Yes, sir.
What does it mean, ma'am?
Sir, actually, when it was released in 2021, it was like that. Now I think we don't have that as a limit. If your institution is registering under ABC, the batch of students who are admitting into you from this academic year, for them you can create ID in ABC.
No. Priya, shall I pitch in? Hello.
Yes, sir.
See, sir, there are multiple things to address here. This 10%, 20%, whatever the cap they have kept in the ABC document is applicable to those students who are admitting in other institutions for under ABC. For example, your intake is 300, presuming that it is 300. If it is a 10% admissible that you can allow the other students to pop in into your institutions, only 30 students are permitted under ABC to avoid overcrowding.
Yes. I got the point. Now this looks valid. Yes.
See, 300 is your cap, total intake. To avoid overcrowding, as well as to ensure the quality of your curriculum delivery for other students, a cap has been kept. So that is that 10%, whatever it may be, 20%. Priya, what is that percentage? 20.
20. Certain.
20%.
Yeah, then you can admit a maximum of 60 students. Are you clear, Rakesh?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
clear.
Done. Good.
And one exclusive website should be there for ABC of every university?
Yes, you can go to nsrat.edu.in. There you can find one link ABC where we have uploaded the ABC policy document, I think Dr. Priya has highlighted ABC grievance redressal mechanism, where IQAC members, we are part of that grievance redressal mechanism. And there are some promotional videos we have kept being shared by Ministry of Education. And there are few more tabs you can see, but it is a mandate.
It is a mandate.
It is a mandate.
Okay. Fine, sir. Fine. Got it, sir. Thank you. Thank you so much, sir.
And from my side, I just want to listen from the participants. Those who are participating now, any of your institutions have registered under ABC? You can, if you raise, then we'll have an understanding.
As
Yes,
of now,
ma'am.
no, ma'am.
Okay.
JP University has registered itself on ABC.
Okay, sir.
Madam, in our college, we have just initiated for the batch 2021. That's in the process.
Fine, sir. Because almost all the state governments and our state universities, they have started to insist the institutions to register for ABC. So just out of, because the state statistics, what is there in the website is different, but though the institutes are registered, whether they started to implement that is very, very less, because we have a lot of challenges to incorporate these changes in our curriculum and regulation. That's why in the implementation is on the lesser side still now. And also, if you have started to implement, maybe now or later part also, right? We can have an interaction to understand the issues and challenges what different institutions are facing and how those were rectified, so that it can be a learning for other academic peers.
Dear participants, if you have any queries, then please respond.
Yeah, good afternoon, ma'am. Hello.
Sir, yes, you are audible, sir.
Am I audible? Yeah.
Yes, sir,
Hello.
you are audible.
Good afternoon, ma'am. This side Kapil Sharma calling from State Jayaprakash Polytechnic, Damla in Yamunanagar. I have a question that are these credits earned by a respective student are recognized worldwide, or is it in recognized in India only?
As far as I know.
Yes, Priya. Then I will pitch in. Yes, please go ahead.
No, as far as I know, I think it is valid only in our country. Suppose if your program is accredited under different accord according to that, then international recognition is possible. That is my answer. I think Director Sir can give.
Thank you, Dr. Priya. Sir, this NCRF, NSQF, this National Education Policy, if you all things, if you connect this National Credit Framework is a meta framework. It is a unified framework to connect the vocational studies, diploma studies, and higher education. So this credit procurement is, though it is. Sir, am I audible?
Yes, sir. There is a disturbance in between.
Dr. Anita, can you keep it on mute? Dr. Anita saying, if you don't mind. Dr. Anita, I request the host to keep it on mute, please. Yes. So this, sir, let me repeat, sir. This National Credit Framework, the assignment, the transfer, accumulation, redemption, all comes under one parameter, which is a meta framework. So if you look into the policy document, In our country, they show very less weightage to the vocational studies, and it is explicitly given in the draft. So to remove the barrier between the vocational studies, to remove the barrier between the diploma studies and higher education, particularly the so-called engineers, technician, technologist, as well as engineer. Now there is no bifurcation in this credit framework because it is a meta. So though the credit alignment is well aligned with the international credit system, the credit validity is only within Indian countries, within our own country as of now. Maybe in future, we can look beyond this boundary.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
If any other participants wants to interact with the resource person? So the feedback link for this session is already posted in your WhatsApp group. Please give your valuable feedback.
Sir, WhatsApp group, we are not able to access.
Madam, already your name is
No,
added, madam.
yes, but the link I am not able to access. Okay. I do not know why. Can you please share in chat box, sir?
Okay, madam. Okay, madam. I will share.
So once again from NSRIT, I would like to thank all the participants whom were shown interest. Finally, I would like to add only one point. The government may take many initiatives for the betterment of our education system at our country level. But coming to the implementation execution, the teaching community, either starting from the junior most faculty and senior faculty, it is a collective responsibility to deploy the things in place so that we can bring the academic ecosystem in a better position in par with other countries. That is our only request. Begin that concept of this particular workshop, and we would like to host more number of workshops in the coming days. Anyway, few useful links we will share in the afternoon by Dr. Suryanarayana and Dr. Priya. You can understand our operation more on from that website. Thank you.
Okay, if there are no queries, let me give an ending note. Though from our side, we have taken few initiatives for the implementation of NEP 2020, and we are facing challenges and issues. So my suggestion is, let us continue this group, and at one point of time, all will be this registering into ABC will become a mandate for all the institutions. So whatever difficulty if you have, if you can share, that will be a learning for others. And if we can help you out in some way, we are ready to do that as we have completed this process. And that is one side. So I thank our management and IQAC for giving an opportunity to interact with this learned group of academicians and to share our experience in the implementation of NEP 2020. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you, madam.
Suryanarayana, sir, I have a request for you.
Yes.
Among all the participants, you take a survey before the next session in the afternoon. How many are representing from IQAC? So that we can deploy a new concept for the betterment of all the institutions who joined here. You just take a count, how many are from IQAC?
IQAC, sure, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
So, dear participant, the feedback link on the second session is posted in chat box also. If you are unable to access through WhatsApp, then you can respond here also. And I request all the participants, if you are a member of IQAC of your concerned institution or university, then please respond yes. We are planning a program for the IQAC members in the future, so please respond. Yes. Now the session is over. The next session, third session, will start at 1:30. The link, Zoom link will be open at 1:50. Third session will be on the National Skill Qualification Framework. And the fourth session will be on multiple exit and multiple interruptions. So please join at 1:15 sharply.